Hello, and I'm excited to welcome to the Big Ideas Show for your return,
Yay.
Bean from Performance Space. How's it going?
Good, thank you.
Good, thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
And today we are talking about, I was trying to think of a title, but I can't really title it better than the programme that you're here to talk about, which is Pause and Affect.
Yep.
Affect, not effect, affect.
Yeah.
And I added on a little subtext saying Embracing Slowness,
Yes.
which I took as a subsection. Yeah. So we're going to roll the credits and then we're going to be back chatting a bit more. So, welcome back. Your return. I think I interviewed you about 9 months ago.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
For Wake Festival.
Yes.
And that was a fascinating chat about time and space, or space and time in general, and how that's a very important message, I think, running through all of your work, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And none more than this one. So I think I just want to open it up, start off with, and kind of say, can you tell us about Pause and Affect? Because everything relates to the theme with what I've read from it so far anyway.
Sure. It's basically like a 14-month programme that gives lots of different artists time and space to make work. So I think since we've moved to Folkestone, our programming's been like slowly shifting as we kind of find our way in a new location and find our way in kind of where we are at our lives at the moment. And like reflecting on what we're doing as artists, and that kind of really affects how we curate programs and the artists that we work with, and thinking about what we need. And so this program has become really residency based. So we basically, across 14 months, we have 10 artists in residence, 2 artists at a time. Mm-hmm. And each artist is given 6 weeks to come and be in our space. And the idea is that there's not really any kind of expected outcomes. So obviously it's great that the public and people of Folkestone get to share in that process, but we don't have any expectations of the artist to make like a piece of work, as it were.
Yeah, okay. And something that I personally picked out when I read the blurb, the information on your site, was this idea of slowness, because it's something I'm very bad at.
Yeah.
So
are we.
Well, but I love the fact that it kind of works for the theme and for the discussion as a whole. It's a great context that Benji actually couldn't make it because he had so much on and was being in action around this idea of slowness, wasn't he? And he kind of messaged to say, I'm sorry, I can't make it. I'm kind of taking my own medicine and going, right, no, slow down. What does that mean to you, kind of being slow and the need to be slow? What's the current state that we need to put on a filter of slowness to? Yeah,
I think a lot of it is, there's something in slowness, particularly from an artist's perspective, that I think allows you to see and experience details that we miss when we're too busy or too fast trying to get somewhere. And I think our programme and our way of making work as artists, kind of making time-based performance work, is much more about the process than the result. And I think if you want to make process-driven work, then you need to have lots of time to do that, you know? And so I guess that's where the slowness thing comes in. And I think we joke a lot about ourselves as being people who like work really fast, and like as a artist-led organisation, we're always rushing on to the next thing. We've always got another idea, like another project. We're always moving somewhere else, or like they're all kind of grand schemes and big catastrophes. And you know, I think we've had like maybe 5 or 6 years of really accelerated stuff. And now we're kind of unpicking that a little bit more and reflecting on, I guess, maybe it's a point in life as well that a lot of our peers are reaching a similar kind of point where there's a need to kind of pause and reassess and think about what you need. Yeah.
And how does that, in a tangible sense, how does that look? I guess, and this question could apply to both some of the work that kind of may or may not be produced, but also I always find it interesting how when you create a context for work or in any situation, it kind of tends to show up in other areas of your life, in your day-to-day life, outside of the art side. So what's the tangible expressions or the tangible actions that you've been doing around embracing slowness?
I think a really nice example is last November we had a group of artists come and do a micro residency called Berising. And so that was just over 2 weeks, and it was 3 BAME artists that were given the opportunity. And we went on lots of walks with them. And I just think we live in such an incredible place, and we moved here because of the kind of the access to outdoors and the ease of, you can be more slow here because it doesn't take very long to get anywhere, and everyone that you want to have a conversation with is 10 minutes away. And so, when we had these people in residence, we spent a lot of time doing like coastal walks and walking and talking with people. And it made me really appreciate that perhaps if I looked at my job in a more professional way, then I think that's something that's not valued so much. Or if I was doing something like writing a project plan about all of the things I need to do to deliver this artist residency project, I probably wouldn't timetable for the fact that I need to sit down and I need to prepare food with people and I need to have space to have conversations with people and to walk with people. And but actually it's when you do those kind of things that I think you actually get to the core issues that people are trying to unpack in their work. I think that's when the really good conversations happen. Yeah,
and is that something you've kind of been able to take on? Do you now timetable be that kind of formal or?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's something that will hopefully come into action this year a little bit more. At the moment, I guess we're on a kind of a pause, although we're actually really busy, but publicly we're on a pause because we're kind of sitting on funding outcomes and things, so we're waiting for our programme to begin. But I did write a project plan that I sent to the Arts Council, and I did timetable every week that, we are going to go on walks and talk with artists, and that's part of the way that we develop their practice, you know, and I value that. So
yeah, definitely.
It's in there.
Is that something, I guess, and that's, you could say that's creative and artistic in itself, is taking that time out, and you're making kind of, this is what the work's about. And I love this idea that hopefully people can factor that in and give it value, because I think that's the problem, isn't it, is we don't value it. We go, okay, I'm going to be more productive if I work these 2 hours than if I work 1 and rest 1. But do we need to, I guess it's not, this is kind of maybe making it more tied to kind of specific answers, but I wonder has anyone ever measured that you know of, either in a creative sense or in a more practical sense, in how much more we're able to get done if we do less?
If we do less. I don't know if it's been measured. I have no idea, but I definitely, it's part of our programme is really thinking about this slowness as a methodology. And so, all the things that I was just talking about, I wouldn't, if I was timetabling them, I wouldn't put them as time out, because I don't think it's time out. I think that's a really integral part of the creative process. I just think it's something that generally isn't kind of acknowledged. And so I think it's about rethinking how we think about how we work, or what work is actually.
Can it be as simple as how you said it there? You wouldn't label it as time out. Is it a case of, if we relabel stuff like thinking time or kind of exploring, then I guess from a simple point that if we change our language, we have the potential to change our actions, because we remove the rest is bad kind of thing, isn't it?
I feel like it's being a bit sneaky as well, because we're kind of like, I don't know, it's right, there's something in the relabeling of stuff, or the formalising of language, that it gives gives things a different kind of status.
Yeah.
And I'm all for that. I think it's like a clever tactic against capitalism at the moment, you know.
Yeah, definitely. And is there, so we've been talking kind of very much around, you know, it being a really important time for artists, the time and space being a fundamental thing, and we've talked before about it. How do you think that applies to kind of, not, I'm going to say non-artists, because I don't believe anyone's not an artist in their own right or in their own sense, but people who maybe wouldn't consider themselves artists. How would you suggest or invite them to consider these ideas in maybe their own practice or work or whatever it may be?
Oh, it's a hard question. I don't know, because I haven't really worked in any other jobs for a long time. But yeah, I guess I think it's important that in any environment or in any kind of workspace to be creating this space for people to have enough time to listen to each other and to think, you know, and to think not just in a kind of problem-solving way. I think sometimes we only think about things if there's like a very specific outcome that we need, and that, you know, I hope that lots of organisations or workspaces would be allowing people to ask questions and unpack things as they're going on.
That's really nice. Yeah, nice. No, I like that idea of like listening. Yeah, and you're right. And I'm just kind of thinking, considering it for myself, it's always right, what's the problem I need to solve, rather than something that I haven't even considered. And you said at the very beginning about detail, noticing the detail. How many I remember one point kind of going along and looking up in a place that I walk every day and going, I never look up, and just notice. And you need to be off your phone, don't you? Otherwise you can't look at your phone. But okay, so I want to now ask you a few kind of take-home questions that people can apply. The big questions.
Okay.
I told you about the beforehand, and everyone's gone.
I'm concentrating.
Okay, so the first one is kind of a vision or a declaration for what you see as possible in this area, really. So my question would be, what if ...
And is this for myself, more for myself, or more for everyone?
I would say it's something that you see, a vision for yourself that you'd like to offer out to the world, like, you know, creating a piece of work. I see this for myself, but I want other people to engage and share with it.
What if we didn't have clocks?
Interesting. Oh my God, that's a really good one. And that's quite funny, because I've just bought a clock today for these sessions, but the difference being I'm much more conscious of the time than just going, no, I'm just exploring a conversation. So, wow, that's a really good answer. I really like that one. What if we had no clocks or no phones to look at the time as well? Okay, so my second question would be, what one question would you like to ask anyone listening, watching out there? It can be someone specific or a group. Specifically a question because you want to learn something, you know, about them or how they think or how they work from that question.
I was thinking about consumption, but now you've rephrased it. I'm not sure. Can you ask me the question again? Sorry.
That's all right. So what one question would you like to ask anyone out there, because you're interested in the answer, or what they have to say, or what they think?
I guess how can we find more time and space for connection, specifically connection with people that we don't usually connect with?
Okay, I like it. Thank you. Right, and my last question is, what would your call to action be for people out there to embrace slowness, embrace some of the things we've talked about? What would be the one thing that, if they did anything after listening to this, that you'd like them to try, or you'd invite them to try?
Just to listen more.
Okay, nice. Yeah, really, because it's amazingly powerful.
Yeah.
What you can learn. Okay, great answers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so just to wrap it up, if people want to find out more about, this is a big program that's going on for a long period of time, isn't it? So where can people find out?
It's big but slow. It feels like a smaller program to us.
But what, because it's stretched out over such a long period?
It's stretched out.
Nice.
Well, we have our first event coming up in May, and that's Another Rising. So there'll be 3 emergent artists that have been given a 2-week micro residency, and there will be a public event at the end of that so they can share their work. And I think that's on the 26th of May.
Okay.
I can't remember. It's on a Saturday. But you can check our website, which is www.performancespace.org, and that has full details of the programme and all of the artists that are coming to do residencies over the next year.
Brilliant. Bean, thank you very much indeed. It's been a great chat. Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye.